These 5 books have really impacted my early 20s, but it's only because I tried hard to apply them. So if you can read these and apply them, you're gonna be ahead of the game in your 20s. Changes That Heal is one of those books where I did not know how much I didn't know until I read it. This book is talking about specifically your mental health, emotional health, and relationships. Some of the parts of this book that were so impactful were the chapters on growth, relationship building, distancing yourself from others, so how to create healthy boundaries with people you have relationships with, and even towards the end, chapters on becoming an adult. What does it look like to mature? What happens if you don't grow up and become an adult? And there was other content in this book that talked about your past and your upbringing and what happens if you don't have things like bonding to your parents and bonding to others, and the effect that that can have currently where you're at. The author is a clinical psychologist, so pretty sure he knows what he's talking about. The proximity principle is focused solely on career and finding your dream job and ultimately finding the career that you love. This book too, I wrote all throughout it, and one of the main themes of this book is getting in proximity to the right people to ultimately bring you to the right career for you. What I like about this book is that at the end of every chapter they give you some application steps that you can apply and kind of recap what the chapter is about. I love when books do that because it makes it digestible and understandable. All of these books will be linked down below for you to check out and get a copy for yourself. How to Win Friends and Influence People is a classic. There have been, apparently according to this, over 80 years of this being published and more than 15 million copies sold, which is insane. But the lessons that are in this book are golden. One of the main things that I've really enjoyed about this book is how simple these things are to apply in your life. One of the chapters focuses on just smiling. Another chapter focuses on being interested in what others are interested in. In my personal life, actually trying to apply that when I'm in conversations with other people and truly listening to what they're saying and trying to not focus on what's the next thing I'm going to say, but rather, what are they saying? What can I be interested about genuinely? Not just for show. And how can I ask follow-up questions to them about what they're saying? The Total Money Makeover is not controversial, but the man behind it, Dave Ramsey, gets a lot of heat from people. After reading this book, man, I felt like my eyes were open to personal finance because I had never known about true personal finance and what that means. There's a big quote in this that says, personal finance is 80% behavior and only 20% head knowledge, which I think is so true because the lessons that are in this book are not hard to understand. Things like being on a monthly budget, living on less than you make, like that's not hard to understand, but actually doing it and practicing it, that's where the real challenge comes in. I think what's also powerful about this book and a lot of these other books is that they're proven. So like in the case of Dave Ramsey's book, people have followed the plan and it's been proven to work. So if it has a track record of working for others, why not give it a shot? For your spiritual health, this book really shifted my perspective and kind of solidified what I was believing in. This book is called Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis. And before you kind of hop off and say, you know what, I'm not a Christian, I don't believe in that stuff, or even if you are a Christian, I still recommend and encourage you to read this because it really lays out the Christian faith in a rational and logical way as best as it can. And I think that was convicting for me because I'm a rational thinker and I like logic and understanding, okay, if I'm going to believe in something, I want to have evidence for it, reason for it, logic for it. Of course, there's a balance between evidence and faith, but this book does a really good job at just laying out the facts and putting Christianity on the hot seat, which I really enjoy. I heard recently that knowledge isn't power, but applied knowledge is power. And I want to know your thoughts. Do you agree with that? What else do you think? What other books do you recommend? All these books are, again, linked down below in the description. And if you made it this far in the video, check out the video that's on the screen to watch next.